JS Genesis Designs. Shalom, brother. Alright, I'm trying to pull this up on here so I can see your guys' chats. Just give me 1 second. Hope you guys are doing well. We are going to be picking up where we left off in... Uh-oh, that's not the right one. Picking up where we left off in Exodus chapter 19. My name is Jerry. For anybody who's new, tuning in tonight or later on, my wife and I run a little business called Sanctified Supply Co. We believe the whole Bible is true and relevant, and we make t-shirts to share our faith with people. And shalom, Nathan. Good to see you there. Dano, shalom. Country Fun. All right, we got some people filing in here. That's awesome. I hope you guys are ready to rest and recharge. And hopefully fellowship with some folks. What's up? My wife's making some cookies. We're going to bring those to fellowship tomorrow. Trying to find... Why can't I see? Okay, probably on my videos. How do you do this on yours, Lush?
What?
When you tune in for the live stream. Okay, I found it.
I just click on your profile. I don't know how to navigate anything.
Well, now that's convenient. It just completely shut down on me. Oh well. Dano, you're new.
I would let you use my phone when you're following recipes.
My dad used to play around like he was Italian when I was younger. He said, "What do you know? What do you know?" Is the
Shut up, you are Italian.
Huh?
You are Italian.
We might be Italian. I'm not sure. All right. How's everybody doing? Humble Child. Shalom, shalom. Jerry Cripps. Yo, that's my dad. Shabbat shalom, Dad. Blessings from Southern Oregon. Cave Junction needs your prayers. Thank you. Amen. Yeah, Cave Junction does need our prayers. Speaking of prayer, let's go ahead and talk to our Creator, shall we? All right. Heavenly Father, thank you so much that we have the privilege to be able to speak to you, the one who created heaven and earth and everything that is in them. Father, is such a privilege. Pray that we would never take that for granted, that we have the Creator on speed dial. At any moment we can just lift up our hearts and our eyes to you, and you want to hear from us. Father, we pray for all of our towns and states, that you would do a work in them. Use us to be a conduit. Use us to be your hands and feet. Help us to be about your business and to seek your will above our own. Father, as we get in your word, I just pray that you'll open up our hearts to receive it. We just thank you so much that we can get to know you better by reading your word, learning the behavior, the character of your son, Yeshua. I pray that we would emulate that we would walk in it, and that we would be able to hear you say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I pray that we would do what is pleasing in your sight. And we just dedicate this time to you. We thank you for your Shabbat. Pray that you bless it. Bless everybody that's listening right now. And we just thank you so much for all the blessings that you've given us. In the name of Yeshua, amen. Country Fun. Shalom. All right. Well, I think I don't think that this is gonna pull up. It looks like the battery's dead, so I'm just gonna go off of right here. Moose Run Coffee. Shalom, homie. All right. Y'all get your Bibles open. Follow along. We're gonna dig into Exodus. We're in chapter 19 right now. Right now. I'm reading out of the Scriptures version. JS Genesis Design, you sent me a video on this copy of the Bible. I actually did not get to watch that yet. I started watching it, and then I was going to put it on the TV for us to watch together.
Oh, yeah, you never did.
And then I never did. So I still got to check that out. But because I started reading this plan through the Bible, and I'm almost done, we're going to finish it out. And yeah, but I am not being stubborn. You know, I realize that there are some translations out there that have been tampered with, and I'm glad that you had brought that to my attention. I will have to check that out though. If for those of you who are wondering what I'm talking about, apparently from this book, TS 2009 copy of the Scriptures, there are many verses apparently missing from the Psalms, and that's not good. But before I, just toss this Bible out, I'll look into that for myself. I suggest you all do the same. Don't just take what I just said, because I have not done my homework. But we ought to do our homework. We ought to be Bereans. We ought to study to show ourselves approved unto Yahweh, workmen that need not to be ashamed, and rightly dividing the word of truth. Got to do husband stuff right now. Anyways, let's get in the word, shall we? Exodus chapter 19. Can anybody hit me with a thumbs up in the chat if the audio is okay? Sometimes I have this mic down too low. I try to keep it low enough to where you're not hearing a lot of background noise, but as long as my voice is coming in clear for you guys, we'll get started. Oh, there's Sarah Hoscotter. I did relay that message like I said I would, Sarah. So, Dad, if you're still listening, Sarah, she's in the chat right now, so you guys can chat while I'm reading or whatever. But, yeah, I highly encourage everybody to start, linking up with brothers and sisters in your area. They are there, trust me. Most of us are just kind of doing our own little fellowships nowadays. Like Lucia and I did that for last 3 years almost. Now we have a fellowship that we like attending, and we go there a couple times a month.
Also, like, I don't want to sit in front of the camera, but also, like, praying about it, because we would, like, Jerry, when we lived in Oregon, before we were, like, fully understanding Torah, we would pray, like, he'd be like, pray that I would have, like, a mentor, somebody to, like, help me be, like, to walk in this way, the way that we felt called to walk in. And the next week, we would have somebody, like, call us out of the blue, you know what I mean? And then we'd pray, like, Father, give us godly friends that, like, want to walk this walk like us, And the next week, we would have all of a sudden, like, a whole new group of friends to hang out with that were also wanting to do what we were doing. And then we would pray for fellowship, and the church we found ended up being, like, right down the street from the middle of nowhere where I grew up. It was crazy. Like, the church me and my mom used to take photos in front of every year, like, that ended up being the church that was like-minded. So praying about it, I think, is the biggest thing. If you're feeling like you're lacking fellowship, the Father will provide.
Amen. Yeah, definitely pray about it, and like the scripture says, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened unto you. You have not because you ask not, and because you ask amiss. Make sure that your heart's in the right place, and we're not just doing this for a selfish desire, but to lift him up. Everything's about him. He's not going to play second fiddle to anything in this world. And so as long as he's number one in our life and in our hearts, We can feel good about praying for His will to be done and for us to have whatever it is that our family needs. But anyways, let's get into this. Chapter 19, Exodus. In the third new moon after the children of Israel had come out of the land of Mitzrayim, on this day they came to the wilderness of Sinai. For they set out from Rephidim, and they had come to the wilderness of Sinai and camped in the wilderness. So Israel camped there, before the mountain. And Moshe went up to Elohim, and Yahweh called to him from the mountain, saying, This is what you are to say to the house of Jacob, to declare to the children of Israel. You have seen what I did to the Mitzrites, and how I bore you on eagle's wings, and brought you to myself. And now, if you diligently obey my voice, so here's the if and then. If you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples. How are you going to be his treasured possession above all the peoples? If you guard my covenant. For all the earth is mine, says Yahweh, and you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the... Sorry, let me move this. I can't. I gotta have the book a little bit farther from my face so I can see it. There we go. And you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people, and set before them all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, All that Yahweh has spoken we shall do. So Moshe brought back the words of the people to Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Moshe, See, I am coming to you in the thick cloud, so that the people hear when they speak with you, and believe you forever. And Moshe reported the words of all the people to Yahweh. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Go to the people and set them apart today and tomorrow, and they shall wash their garments, and shall be prepared by the third day. For the third day Yahweh shall come down upon Mount Sinai before the eyes of all the people, and you shall make a border for the people all around, saying, Take heed to yourselves that you do not go up to the mountain or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall certainly be put to death. Not a hand is to touch it, but he shall certainly be stoned or shot with an arrow. Whether man or beast, he shall not live. Then, when Yobel when the Yobel, or the trumpet, sounds long, let them come near the mountain. And Moshe came down from the mountain to the people, and set the people apart, and they washed their garments. And he said to the people, Be prepared by the third day, do not come near a wife. And it came to be on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud on the mountain, and a voice of a shofar was very strong, and all the people who were in the camp trembled. And Moshe brought the people out of the camp to meet with Elohim, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was in smoke, all of it, because Yahweh descended upon it in fire. Upon it in fire, and its smoke went up like the smoke of a furnace, and all the mountain trembled exceedingly. And when a voice of the shofar sounded long and became very strong, Moshe spoke, and Elohim answered him by voice. And Yahweh came down upon the Mount Sinai, upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and Yahweh called Moshe to the top of the mountain, and Moshe went up. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Go down and warn the people, lest they break through unto Yahweh to see, and many of them fall. And let the priests who come near Yahweh set themselves apart too, lest Yahweh break out against them. And Moshe said to Yahweh, the people are not able to come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, make a border around the mountain and set it apart. And Yahweh said to him, come, go down, then come up, and you and Aharon with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to Yahweh, lest they break out against them. And Moshe went down to the people and spoke to them. Chapter 20. And Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahweh your Elohim, who has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of slavery. You have no other mighty ones against my face. So here's where we see the Ten Commandments. Have no other mighty ones against my face. Do not make for yourself a carved image or the likeness, or any likeness of which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. You do not bow down to them nor serve them, for I, Yahweh your Elohim, am a jealous El, visiting the crookedness of the fathers on the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing loving commitment to thousands, to those who love me and guard my commandments. You do not bring the name of Yahweh your Elohim to naught, for Yahweh does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. Remember the Sabbath day to set it apart. 6 days you labor and shall do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath of Yahweh your Elohim. You do not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days Yahweh made the heavens and the earth and sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore Yahweh blessed the Sabbath day and set it apart. Respect your father and your mother, so that your days are prolonged upon the soil which Yahweh your Elohim is giving you. You do not murder, you do not commit adultery, you do not steal, you do not bear false witness against your neighbor. You do not covet your neighbor's house, you do not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, or whatever belongs to your neighbor. And all the people saw the thunders, the lightning flashes, the voice of the shofar, and the mountain smoking. And the people saw it, and they trembled and stood at a distance. And said to Moshe, you speak with us, and we hear, but let not Elohim speak with us, lest we die. And Moshe said to the people, do not fear, for Elohim has come to prove you, and in order that his fear be before you, so that you do not sin. So the people stood at a distance, but Moshe drew near the thick darkness where Elohim was. And Yahweh said to Moshe, say this to the children of Israel, you yourselves have seen what I have spoken to you from the heavens. You do not make besides me mighty ones of silver. You do not make mighty ones of gold for yourselves. Make a slaughter place of earth for me, and you shall slaughter on it your ascending offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your cattle, in every place where I cause my name to be remembered. I shall come to you and bless you. And if you make me a slaughter place of stone, do not build it of cut stone, for if you use your chisel on it, you have profaned it. Nor do you go up by steps to my slaughter place, lest your nakedness be exposed on it. Chapter 21. These are the right rulings which you are to set before them. When you buy a Hebrew servant, he serves 6 years, and in the 7th he goes out free, for nothing. If he comes in by himself, he goes out by himself. If he comes in married, then his wife shall go out with him. If his master has given him a wife, and she has borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children are her master's, and he goes out by himself. And if the servant truly says, I love my master, my wife, and my children, let me not go out free, then his master shall bring him before Elohim, and shall bring him to the door, or to the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall serve him forever.
Bondservant.
So here's the picture that I just seen in my mind, okay? So you got the master, that's the father. And then you got us. Okay? We're the bride that was given to this servant.
I'm not tracking.
You're not tracking?
No, I don't know what you're getting at.
Okay, well, he was pierced to the post because he wanted to stay with the bride.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, I'm going to leave that where it lies for now. Verse 7, and when a man sells his daughter to be a female servant, she does not go out as a male servant, as the male servants do. If she is displeasing in the eyes of her master, who has engaged her to himself, then he shall let her be ransomed. He shall have no authority to sell her to a foreign people because of him deceiving her. And if he has engaged her to his son, he is to do to her as is right of her daughters. If he takes another wife, her food, her covering, and her marriage rights are to be diminished. And if he does not do these three for her, then she shall go out for nothing, without silver. He who strikes a man so that he dies shall certainly be put to death. But if he did not lie in wait, but Elohim delivered him into his hand, then I shall appoint for you a place where he is to flee. But when a man acts presumptuously against his neighbor, to kill him by treachery, you are to take him even from my slaughter place to die. And he who strikes his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And he who kidnaps a man and sells him, or if he is found in his hand, shall certainly be put to death. And he who curses his father or his mother shall certainly be put to death. And when men strive together, and one strikes another with a stone or with his fist, and he does not die but is confined to his bed. Sorry, I got allergy issues or something. Confined to his bed, if he rises again and walks about outside with his staff, then he who struck him shall be innocent. He only pays for lost time and sees to it that he is completely healed. And when a man strikes his male or female servant with a rod, so that he dies under his hand, he shall certainly be avenged. But if he remains alive a day or two, he is not avenged, for he is his poverty. And when men strive, and they shall smite a pregnant woman, and her children come out, yet there is no injury, he shall certainly be punished accordingly as the woman's husband lays upon him, and he shall give through the judges. But if there is injury, then you shall give life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, lash for lash. And when a man strikes the eye of his male or female servant and destroys it, he is to let him go free for the sake of his eye. And if he knocks out the tooth of his male or female servant, he is to let him go free for the sake of his tooth. And when an ox gores a man or a woman to death, then the ox shall certainly be stoned, and its flesh is not eaten. And the owner of the ox is innocent. However, if the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner has been warned, and he has not kept kept it confined, so that it has killed a man or a woman, the ox is stoned, and its owner also is put to death. If a sin covering is laid upon him, then he shall give the ransom of his life, whatever is laid on him, whether it has gored a son or gored a daughter, according to the right ruling it is done to him. If the ox gores a male or female servant, he is to give to their master 30 shekels of silver, and the ox is stoned. And when a man opens a pit, if a man digs a pit and does not cover it, and an ox or a donkey falls in it, the owner of the pit is to repay. He is to give silver to their owner, and the dead beast is his. And when the ox of a man smites the ox of his neighbor, and it dies, then they shall sell the live ox and divide the silver from it, and also divide the dead ox. Or if it was known that the ox was previously in the habit of goring, and its owner has not kept it confined, he shall certainly repay ox for ox, while the dead beast is his. Chapter 22. When a man steals an ox or a sheep, and shall slaughter it or sell it, he repays 5 cattle for an ox, or 4 sheep for a sheep. Sorry, guys. I'm having like major sinus issues for like the last 4 weeks. Try to breathe. All right, chapter 22. When a man steals an ox or a sheep and shall slaughter it or sell it, he repays 5 cattle for an ox, or 4 sheep for a sheep. If the thief is found breaking in and he is struck so that he dies, there is no guilt for his bloodshed. If the sun has risen on him, there is guilt for his bloodshed, for he shall certainly repay. If he has not the means, then he shall be sold for his theft. Verse 4, if the theft is indeed found alive in his hand, whether it is an ox or donkey or sheep, he repays double. When a man lets a field or a vineyard be grazed bare, and lets loose his livestock, and it feeds in another man's field, he repays from the best of his own field and the best of his own vineyard. When fire breaks out and spreads to thorn bushes, so that the stacked grain or standing grain or the field is consumed, he who kindled the fire shall certainly repay. I'm just like want to point something out real quick. It's almost a given that you would have a vineyard and a field, some sort of harvest, and cattle, apparently. So, I mean, I don't have any of those things.
Hashtag life.
Yeah, I think that should be normal for us. Yeah, raw honey. I've been doing raw honey. Man, I've been doing everything you can think. I've been drinking lots of water, raw honey. But anyways.
They're spraying it in the air. We've been getting
I don't want to get distracted on that, babe. But yeah, it should be the normal, right? To have fields of food and livestock, right? I wanted to just stay on focus. Sorry, I'm going to shut you down. Verse 7. When a man gives silver or goods to his neighbor to guard, and it is stolen out of the man's house, if the thief is found, he repays double. If the thief is not found, then the master of the house shall be brought before Elohim to see whether he has put his hand into his neighbor's goods. For every matter of transgression, for ox, for donkey, for sheep, for garment, or for whatever is lost, which another claims to be his, let the matter of them both come before Elohim, and whomever Elohim declares wrong repays double to his neighbor. When a man gives to his neighbor a donkey or ox or sheep or any beast to watch over, and it dies, or is injured, or is driven away while no one is looking, let an oath of Yahweh be between them both, that he has not put his hand into his neighbor's goods, and the owner of it shall accept that, and he does not repay. But if it is indeed stolen from him, he repays to his owner. If it is torn to pieces, then let him bring it for evidence. He does not repay what is torn. And when a man borrows from his neighbor and it is injured or dies while the owner of it is not present, he shall certainly repay. But if its owner was with it, he does not repay. If it was hired, he is entitled to the hire. And when a man entices a maiden who is not engaged and lies with her, he shall certainly pay the bride price for her to be his wife. For her father absolutely If her father absolutely refuses to give her to him, he pays according to the bride price of maidens. Do not allow a practicer of witchcraft to live. Anyone lying with a beast shall certainly be put to death. He who slaughters to an Elohim except Yahweh only is put under the ban. Do not tread down the sojourner or oppress him, for you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. Do not afflict any widow or fatherless child, if you do afflict them at all. If they cry out to me at all, I shall certainly hear their cry, and my wrath shall burn, and I shall kill you with my sword. Your wives shall be widows, and your children fatherless. If you do lend silver to any of my people, the poor among you, you are not to be like one that lends on interest to him. Do not lay interest on him. If you take your neighbor's garment as a pledge at all, you are to return it to him before the sun goes down. For that is his only covering. It is his garment for his skin. What does he sleep in? And it shall be that when he cries to me, I shall hear, for I show favor. Do not revile an Elohim, nor curse a ruler of your people. Do not delay giving your harvest and your vintage. Give me the firstborn of your sons. Likewise, you are to do with your oxen, with your sheep. It is to be with its mother 7 days. On the 8th day you give it to me. And you are set apart men to me, and you do not eat any meat which is torn to pieces in the field. You throw it to the dogs. Chapter 23. Do not bring a false report. Do not put your hand with the wrong to be a malicious witness. Do not follow a crowd to do evil, nor bear witness in a strife, so as to turn aside after many, to turn aside what is right. And do not favor a poor man in his strife. When you meet your enemy's ox or his donkey going astray, you shall certainly return it to him. When you see a donkey of him who hates you lying under its burden, you shall refrain from leaving it to him. You shall certainly help him. Do not turn aside the right ruling of your poor in his strife. Keep yourself far from a false matter, and do not kill the innocent and the righteous, for I do not declare the wrong right. And do not take a bribe, for a bribe blinds the seeing one and twists the words of the righteous. And do not oppress a sojourner, as you yourselves know the heart of a sojourner. because you were sojourners in the land of Mitzrayim. And for 6 years you are to sow your land and gather its increase. But the 7th year you are to let it rest, and shall leave it, and the poor of your people shall eat. And when they leave, the beasts of the field eat. Do the same with your vineyard and your olive yard. 6 days you are to do your work, and on the 7th day you rest, in order that your ox and your donkey might rest, and the son of your female servant and the sojourner be refreshed. And in all that I have said to you, take heed, and make no mention of the name of other mighty ones, lest it not be heard from your mouth. 3 times in a year you are to celebrate a festival to me. Guard the festival of Matzot. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the time appointed in the new moon of Abib. For in it you came out of Mitzrayim, and do not appear before me empty-handed. Okay, so you got Matzot, that's Feast of Unleavened Bread. Yep, matzah. So what, to my understanding, and correct me if you disagree, or if you think I'm wrong, unleavened bread can also be referred to as Passover, and Passover can also be referred to as matzot, or unleavened bread, because Passover starts unleavened bread, and you are to eat unleavened bread on Passover. They're kind of used interchangeably, to my understanding.
Yeah, because Passover is a meal, and unleavened bread is a festival.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Passover is all, the feast.
It is.
Passover.
It's a feast day, but it's like a meal though. It's not like
the Passover day is technically the lamb.
Yeah.
The Passover is the lamb.
It's like when Yeshua was saying, "Take this wine and remember me," and take this bread and eat and remember me.
Yeah.
That's referring to the Passover.
Exactly.
My understanding.
So back up one verse, 15. Guard the festival of Matzot. 7 days you eat unleavened bread, as I commanded you, at the time appointed in the new moon of Abib. For in it you came out of Mitzrayim, and do not appear before me empty-handed. And the festival of the harvest, the first fruits of your, so these are the feasts, and the festival of the harvest, the first fruits of your labors, which you have sown in the field, and the festival of the ingathering, at the outgoing of the year, when you have gathered in your fruit of your labors from the field. 3 times in the year all your males are to appear before the Master Yahweh. Do not slaughter the blood of my slaughtering with leavened bread, and the fat of my festival shall not remain until morning. Bring the first of the first fruits of your land into the house of Yahweh your Elohim. Do not cook a young goat in its mother's milk. See, I am sending a messenger before you to guard you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Be on guard before him and obey his voice. Do not rebel against him, for he is not going to pardon your transgression, for my name is in him. But if you diligently obey his voice and shall do all that I speak, then I shall be an enemy to your enemies and a distresser to those who distress you. For my messenger shall go before you and shall bring you to the Amorites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Canaanites and the Hivites and the Jebusites, and I shall cut them off. Do not bow down to their mighty ones, nor serve them, nor do according to their works, but without fail overthrow them, and without fail break down their pillars. And you shall serve Yahweh your Elohim, and he shall bless your bread and your water, and I shall remove sickness from your midst. None shall miscarry or be barren in your land. I shall fill the number of your days. I shall send my fear before you and cause confusion among all the people, to whom you come, and make all your enemies turn their backs to you. And I shall send hornets before you, which shall drive out the Hivite, and the Canaanite, and the Hittite from before you. I shall not drive them out from before you in 1 year, lest the land become a waste, and the beasts of the field become too numerous for you. Little by little I drive them out from before you, until you have increased, and you inherit the land. And I shall set your border from the Sea of Reeds to the Sea of the Philistines, and from the wilderness to the river. For I shall give the inhabitants of the land into your hand, and you shall drive them out before you. Do not make a covenant with them, nor with their mighty ones. Let them not dwell in your land, lest they make you sin against me when you serve other mighty ones, when it becomes a snare to you. Chapter 24. And to Moshe he said, Come up to Yahweh, you and Aharon, Nadab and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel, and you shall bow yourselves from a distance. But Moshe shall draw near to Yahweh by himself, and let them not draw near, nor let the people go up with him. And Moshe came and related to the people all the words of Yahweh, and all the right rulings, and all the people answered with one voice, and said, All the words which Yahweh has spoken we shall do. And Moshe wrote down all the words of Yahweh, and rose up early in the morning, and built a slaughter place at the foot of the mountain, and 12 standing columns for the 12 tribes of Israel. Babe, the cookies are done. Sorry, I don't want my cookies to burn.
I'm talking to Sam.
Verse 5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, and they offered ascending offerings, and slaughterings of peace offerings to Yahweh of bulls. And Moshe took half the blood and put it in basins, and half the blood he sprinkled on the slaughter place. And he took the book of the covenant, and read in the hearing of the people, and they said, All that Yahweh has spoken we shall do and obey. And Moshe took the blood and sprinkled it on the people, and said, See the blood of the covenant which Yahweh has made with you concerning all these words. And Moshe went up, and Aharon, Nadab, and Abihu, and 70 of the elders of Israel. And they saw the Elohim of Israel, and under his feet, like a paved work of sapphire stone, and like the heavens for brightness. Yet he did not stretch out his hand against the chiefs of the children of Israel. And they saw Elohim, and they ate and drank. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Come up to me on the mountain, and be there, while I give you tablets of stone, and the Torah, and the command which I have written, to teach them. And Moshe arose with his assistant Joshua, and Moshe went up to the mountain of Elohim. And he said to the elders, Wait here for us until we come back to you. And see, Aharon and Hur are with you. Whoever has matters, let him go to them. And Moshe went up into the mountain, and a cloud covered the mountain. And the esteem of Yahweh dwelt on the mountain, on Mount Sinai, and the cloud covered it for 6 days. And on the 7th day he called to Moshe out of the midst of the cloud. And the appearance of the esteem of Yahweh was like a consuming fire on the top of the mountain, before the eyes of the children of Israel. And Moshe went into the midst of the cloud, and went up into the mountain. And it came to be that Moshe was on the mountain 40 days and 40 nights. Chapter 25. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, that they take up a contribution for me. From everyone whose heart moves him, you shall take up my contribution. And this is the contribution which you take up from them: gold and silver and bronze, and blue and purple and scarlet material, and fine linen, and goat's hair, and ram's skin dyed red, and fine leather, and acacia wood, oil for the light, spices for the anointing oil, and for the sweet incense. Shoham stones, and stones to be set in the shoulder garments and the breastplate. And they shall make me a set apart place, and I shall dwell in their midst, according to all that I show you, the pattern of the dwelling place and the pattern of all its furnishings. Make it exactly so. And they shall make an ark of acacia wood, 2.5 cubits long, a cubit and a half wide, and 2.5 high. And you shall overlay it with clean gold. Inside and out you shall overlay it. And you shall make on it a molding of gold all around. And you shall cast 4 rings of gold for it, and put them on its 4 corners, 2 rings on one side and 2 rings on the other side. And you shall make poles of acacia wood and overlay them with gold. And they shall put the poles into the rings on the sides of the ark, to lift up the ark by them. The poles are in the rings of the ark, and they are not taken from it. And into the ark you shall put the witness which I give you, and you shall make a lid of atonement of clean gold, 2.5 cubits long and 2.5 wide. And you shall make 2 cherubim of gold, make them of beaten work at the 2 ends of the lid of atonement, and make the cherubim at one end, and make 1 cherubim at one end, and the other cherubim at the other end. Make the cherubim from the lid of atonement at its 2 ends. And the cherubim shall be spreading out their wings above, covering the lid of atonement with their wings, and their faces toward each other. The faces of the cherubim turned toward the lid of atonement. And you shall put the lid of atonement on the top of the ark, and put into the ark the witness which I give you. And I shall meet with you there, and from above the lid of atonement, from between the 2 cherubim which are on the ark of the witness, I shall speak to you all at that which I command you concerning the children of Israel. And you shall make a table of acacia wood, 2 cubits long, a cubit wide, and a cubit and a half high. And you shall overlay it with clean gold, and shall make a molding of gold all around. And shall make for it a rim of a handbreadth all around, and shall make a gold molding for the rim all around. And you shall make for it 4 rings of gold, and put the rings on the 4 corners that are at its 4 legs. The rings are close to the rim, as holders for the poles to lift the table. And you shall make the poles of acacia wood, and overlay them with gold. And the table shall be lifted with them. And you shall make its dishes, and its handles, and its jars, and its bowls for pouring. Make them of clean gold. And you shall put the showbread on them, on the table before me continually. And you shall make a lampstand of clean gold. The lampstand is made of beaten work. Its base and its shaft, its cups, its ornamental knobs and blossoms are from it. And 6 branches shall come out of its sides, 3 branches of the lampstand out of one side, and 3 branches of the lampstand out of the other side. 3 cups made like almond flowers on one branch, with ornamental knob and blossom, and 3 cups made like almond flowers on the other branch, with ornamental knob and blossom. So for the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. And on the lampstand itself are 4 cups made like almond flowers, with ornamental knob and blossom. And the knob under the first 2 branches of the same. And the knob under the second 2 branches of the same, and a knob under the third 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches coming out of the lampstand. Their knobs and their branches are of the same. all of it are one beaten work of clean gold. And you shall make 7 lamps for it, and they shall mount its lamps so that they give light in front of it. And its snuffers and their trays are of clean gold. And it is made of thank you. It is made of a talent of clean gold with all these utensils. So see and do according to the pattern which was shown to you on the mountain. Oh, that's a perfect place to stop. I got some cookies right in front of me now. So of course we just seen the table of showbread, the menorah, the Ark of the Covenant. He's giving them instructions to make these, which will go into the temple. He is giving them instruction, but we see the story of the golden calf, I think, in Genesis, not in Exodus. About, maybe I'm wrong on that. I must be wrong on that. Wow. Exodus, story of the golden calf.
What about it?
I don't know.
Oh.
It's a good question.
That's when Moshe went up to the mountain to talk to the people, or to talk to the Father, because the people wouldn't.
Exodus 32. Huh. Oh, man.
They were worshiping the cow. And then God was like, y'all can eat gold out of this river.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, they did get instruction to make the furnishings for the temple before the golden calf story.
Oh, that's what you were at.
Later in 32. The scriptures are so miraculously complete yet incomplete. Is amazing. Incomplete is amazing. I assume you mean it's still amazing if you only get a piece of it. If everything was spelled out, faith wouldn't be required. I imagine that's true. I actually believe, I'm of the persuasion that when Yeshua said, "You have seen and believe, but blessed are those that don't see and believe," I don't think that that's actually us personally, because we have archaeology. Like we like Noah's Ark was found. Like there's Sodom and Gomorrah remains have been found. The Red Sea crossing was found. Like where Moses split the rock and water gushed forth was discovered. Like these places, like I think that there's a long period of time in between then and recent history, that those are the ones that are like, blessed are those people that didn't see. I think we have too much evidence. The Bible is evidently true, based off of just archaeological findings, based off of manuscripts and even secular history corroborating what we find in scripture. I think that you have to like just reject it at this point, or just, go along with the whole ignorance is bliss mindset, where you don't want to know. If you want to know the truth, you can find the truth right now. There's no reason not to. Torah's teaching and guidance of Elohim. Adam was taught by Elohim. Yeah, I believe. Well, yeah, Adam, Seth, Lamech, Methuselah, Enoch, Noah. These guys knew what pleased Yahweh, or else how possibly could Noah have known what was righteous in the sight of the Most High? How could he have done it? He would have been playing a guessing game. They had instruction. We have the evidence. Yeah, Ron Wyatt I believe his findings. Okay, I'll just put it straight out like that. I believe everything that Ron Wyatt said he found. I believe he really did find those things, including the Ark of the Covenant, which I know that's a fantastic story. I mean, like an incredible story, but I believe it. I believe that where Messiah was crucified, the rock was rent and his blood dripped down onto the mercy seat. I believe that fully. No apologies. Yeah, exactly. JS Genesis Designs first sacrifice to cover sin was skins to cover Adam and Eve. Um, you don't just get skins off of something. You don't just get skins. There was something sacrificed for his sin. I believe it was a lamb. I believe it was the lamb that was slain uh, from the beginning. Yeah, I don't think Ron Wyatt's lying at all either. Yeah, he was in tears when he found the Ark of the Covenant. He was in tears just recounting the story of having the blood tested. If you guys don't know about Ron Wyatt, man, check that out. That is wild, wild. Yeah, Ron Wyatt, man, that I think really like catapulted me into the walk that I'm walking now, because like I said, it was like it's just evidently true when you know beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, okay, I grew up with faith, but it was like that moment where I was like, this is this is too real. Like, it's so, like, I knew just from personal testimony and testimony from my dad, seeing, you see somebody changed, and you can't argue with that. When God changes people, only God could do that. Many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's why I think people come to salvation by what? The blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. And I've been holding out on giving my testimony because it's his testimony, testifying of Yeshua throughout my life. But I want to do it in a very calculated way. I don't want to go on rabbit trails, and I don't want to glorify the old man in any way, shape, or form. So I want to give my testimony on a video soon, but it's not going to be live, and I will need to kind of take some notes and make sure that I don't get off track, because you're going to tell your story and how much he's done. If everything he's done was recorded in a book, the world cannot contain all the works that he's done. Okay. And that's just in my life, I believe. So I gotta make sure that I want to give a testimony of him in my life in spite of me, him in my life in spite of my circumstances. Yeah, Ron Wyatt, you guys, I cannot stress that enough. Like, if you don't know about Ron Wyatt, just look in the chat. There, the people who know what Ron Wyatt has discovered, and that'll change people's life. I think that his testimony can bring many people to salvation. I believe that Ron Wyatt is probably one of the humblest men of our of our time in the last several hundred years, I believe. Just because he's such a he didn't seek to get famous from any of this stuff. He just wanted to make sure that it was recorded so that people could know that it's historically true. And so I think sharing that stuff is really inspiring for people who are new to the faith. It's like, wow, you have a lot of ground to stand on right here. The ground quaked under Yeshua on the stake, and it said the blood spilled through the cracks and dripped onto the ark where it was hidden. I believe, yeah, exactly. JS Genesis Design. That's how it went down, and Ron Wyatt had the plug as a doorstop in his office from the cross hole where Messiah was crucified. Um, it was just
Oh
a
my gosh, did it beep?
yeah, it did. Sorry, it
I
just
burnt
beeped.
those last ones too.
No, these ones aren't burnt.
Oh, they're too cooked for me. I
I'm
don't
eating
like
a
it.
cookie, you guys.
They're not supposed to look like that. Oh, and I put the rack on the opposite direction so the tray's stuck.
Dude, I'm sorry for calling you dude. Rescued? What a strong point. Jesus said that he came to fulfill the law and the prophets. How can you completely fulfill the law without the blood of the lamb being sprinkled on the mercy seat?
That's what's up.
Who has the ark? I can't answer that. I don't know. You'll have to go down that rabbit hole and go and watch those videos. It's wild, man. It's incredible in the sense that it's like the ark is the hardest one to wrap our minds around. Okay, I'm just gonna say that, but because there was like angelic intervention and it wasn't able to be well documented. So
You either believe them or you don't. But their stuff is in the museum over in the Middle East. Is that the Middle East?
before honor is humility, humble out. Yeah, and I think that that's why Ron Wyatt was used so mightily, because he was a humble guy. He was just a Tennessee boy. He was an anesthesiologist, and he saved up his money to go exploring the Bible because he had that much faith in what was written that he put his entire check on it. Yeah, he saved his money and went and excavated to find that kind of stuff.
Him and his wife and his son.
And he had, I mean, lots of miraculous intervention along the way, no doubt. Babe, do you know where a pen is by chance?
Yeah, also you can go to Tennessee and go meet his family and see some of the stuff.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to stop at the Ron Wyatt Archaeological Museum in Tennessee, but unfortunately, we were running late to get our taxes filed, so we had to jet straight home from Georgia, or where were we that time? We went into Kentucky, yeah. Oh yeah, because we went to the Ark Encounter, which was really fun. You're from Dixon, Tennessee?
Ow!
Oh, when Ron went back to do more excavations, it was gone. Okay. Look into the Copper Scroll project. Okay, I will. Copper Scroll.
That sounds creepy.
Copper Scroll.
I feel like I maybe accidentally put a teaspoon of baking powder instead of it.
All right, JS Genesis Designs. Shabbat Shalom. It's good to see you here. We'll see you on the next one, brother. Have a good, happy Sabbath, and yeah, hope you have a blessed weekend. Hello from California. My niece and daughter met you at Sukkot 2023. Deborah Lockwood. Shalom. I don't remember. There's so many people. Sukkot was amazing. Your niece and daughter met me at Sukkot. Not looking forward to taxes this year. No. Doing taxes for a small business is a lot more complicated than it ever was for just working for the man. Sarah Hoskins, Shabbat Shalom. Have a good night, Rescued. Good night, Sarah. Rescued, thanks for subbing. Thanks for being here, you guys. Hannah and Angie. Lucia, do you remember Hannah and Angie from Sukkot? Are they from California also?
Whoa. Were they the young girls from California?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them. They were chill.
They were chill. My wife says they were chill, which is a pretty California thing to be.
Yeah, I'm still naming my daughter Hannah. Not pregnant.
While we're still at it, I want to know who has the plates Joseph Smith found. I have no idea. Isn't Joseph Smith the Mormon guy?
Yeah, they were really Pokemon, those like gold discs from Pokemon, and
You being funny.
dude, that's how legit that sounds.
I don't know anything about Joseph Smith, to be honest. I have no idea. They were praying over my two boys at Sukkot. Aw. Country Fun. Thank you too, Country Fun. Sorry, I didn't mean to miss. I got like this much like room to see the comments on here. Sorry. No, I don't believe Joseph Smith. Country Dad. Are you saying later to Rescued, or you out of here? Shalom, Country Dad. Garrett and Nathan told us about your channel. Oh, we love Garrett and Nathan. Those are my friends, man. They hooked us up with some maple syrup that changed my life. And that might not be an overstatement. It was that good. It was that good. You know why it changed my life? Because I put some... So I make espresso. And I took some really good vanilla bean ice cream and I put it in like a little cup like this. It was smaller, little glass, like a double shot glass. And I chilled a fresh shot of espresso and put it over the ice cream with some of that maple syrup that they tapped straight from a tree. Oh my goodness. It changed my life. Country Fun told me about this channel. Well, bless you, Country Fun. Thanks for sharing what we're doing over here. We just want to read the word and make stuff to inspire people. Just want to be about the Father's business. Humbled to be doing this. Oh, the angel that supposedly spoke to Joseph Smith said name was Moron with an I at the end. Have an absolutely outstandingly, amazingly, excellent, beautiful, wonderful, fantabulous, grateful, blessed Sabbath. You too, Dad. I love you. Thanks. You always make me smile when you make comments like that and you send me messages like that. I love it. And then you and I think we use more emojis than anybody.
And LOL.
I LOL, but I actually laugh out loud a lot, so it's cool. I can use that. But I don't always laugh out loud every time. Well, I'm laughing out loud in my mind. It's like that funny. I guess that's not out loud though.
You don't call it LOL anymore. It's LOL.
Laughing in my head. I'll just put LIMH. Laughing in my head. Peaceful Sabbath, humble child. Bless you. Shabbat Shalom. All right, you guys, I'm sure that everybody's ready to jump off here too. It looks like everyone's bouncing. And I got some cookies to eat, and I want to just smack on these cookies in the microphone like that. So thanks for being here. I love you guys. We'll catch you I don't know when next time. Sunday, Monday, something like that. I'll probably do a morning video next time. All right. Shalom, shalom. Catch you all in the next one. Love you. Bye.